Salut coders, this is Pisk again, and in this tutorial we are focusing on ChatGPT integration with Spring Framework, and I'm going to show you how you can integrate your ChatGPT into your application, and you can instruct your system to respond based on the user's request. So let's get started. So here we are going to visit our ChatGPT API documentation, and it's on platform api.com docs API reference chat create, and we are going to use this API, which is chat completion. This is version 1. So on our request of the getting on our request, we are going to add this request body, which is a module. We are using ChatGPT 3.5 Turbo, although there's now a latest one, which is ChatGPT 4, but we are going to use this one in this tutorial. And messages, this is an array of messages which is a row and a content. So row system, and we can also have a raw user, and you can also have a raw assistant. So the content for a system, these are the instructions that you are going to give to your ChatGPT. So we will configure our application to answer questions related to Spring Framework and Flutter, or programming questions, and I will show you how we can do that in Spring. And the other thing that we need is so if you have this request, we want to create an authorization, a bearer, which in this bearer we are going to use OpenAI API key. So you must create an account on ChatGPT. Once you create an account, you must visit this endpoint platform, openapi.com account API keys, and here you can get your key, and after you generate a key, you just copy it and put in a safe place, and next time you won't see your API again. As you can see, your secret API listed below. Please note that we do not display your secret API keys again after you generate them. So make sure you keep it safe so that tomorrow you won't miss it. Or if you can generate a new one. Maybe if you lost your key, and if your application is on production, you have to redeploy the application with the new key that you created now, because it will override the existing one. So let's open our Spring Boot project and start to work on integration. So from what we left last time, in this integration, we want to add the dependence. With these dependencies, there's a list of dependencies that we are supposed to add, and you see we want to use a REST. We want to integrate with it using REST. So to use REST, in Spring you can use REST template, but for me I choose Fail client. So I'm going to add dependence for Fail client. It will be easy. Your Fail client is easier as compared to REST, because you are familiar with the controllers. So the same logic that you use here, this is the same logic that you use when you are integrating with Fail client. So it is in cloud in Spring Cloud. So let's add these dependencies. We have the Spring Cloud Startup Open Fail client. This is the dependence that we want to use, but we must configure it on dependence management. Here we must add dependence management in the list of dependencies, and here we must add the Spring Cloud dependencies, and we want to use Spring Cloud version 22.0.3, because we are using Spring Boot this one. So the supported version for Spring Boot 3.10, they support Spring Cloud version 22. So it depends with the version that you have here. If we are not using the same Spring Boot version, check the version that you are using and which Spring Cloud version it supports here. So after doing this, we have to sync the dependencies. Yeah, was just a setup to our fan client. So let's start the integration. Let's create some DTOs for open package. I can say ChatGPT. So here you can see we need to create a request which is supposed to have list of messages and a model and list of messages. So let's create this one. So I can call it this one a chat I can say chat GPT AI DTO. Private string module, and in this module we want a list of messages. So I can create a module called chat-gpt message, new Java class. I can call it chat-gpt message, right? And from this we can look here, it needs a row and a content. All of them are strings. Private string row, and the content. It's data. We are using Lombok, so it will automatically create getters and setters. And also let's come back here and also add the annotation and data. And here we can say private list of chat GPT message, and you can call it messages. So by doing this, we are able to create, this is our request. So let's go and check the response that we get from ChatGPT reference here. Okay, so there's also other things that we have. Okay, this is the response. So we can call it ChatGPT response. Let's create another module. ChatGPT response. So here, let's add its data again. From Lombok. So this response, yes, all this data. So from this response, we want to add a string ID, private string ID, and also we have this one. It's a string again, which is an object. It is a created, it's a long. And also we have this list of choices. So let's create another object. Let me copy maybe this one. and you can call it ChatGPT choice, ChatGPT choice. So this is how you create responses. And let's delete this, and let's take a look on what is in the choice. So for a choice, it is this. Let's open it here against private long. This is the index, and also a choice as a string, and it's an object. And as I can see, oh no, I was just copying this finish reason here, right? And index, and we also have a list of message, private, which is this one, a row and a content. So we can reuse this one, a row and a content. And it's a what? It's a message. So we can delete this. So what is in our response? I think here it's a choices. So just say private list, and the type, the the field name is choices. Yeah. And also we have ChatGPT usage. So we can also, let's create it again here. So let's create ChatGPT usage. Let's just we can delete this one. It's no longer necessary. We are here. We are in a response. So let's just copy this one, paste, and you can call it ChatGPT usage. It will show the usage of our application, our API key, and you can come here. It has all of these are long, and there are three, 1, 2, 3, and you can come back to our response. For simplicity, I'm just copying as it is, so you can rename your field variables using JSON annotation to follow the standard way of Java. Okay, and this one, we just copy this class, do this, and here to be a usage. So now we can delete this. So this is our response from ChatGPT. If we send a request, it will get a list of choices. So usually we take the choice number 1, which is the answer that you get from ChatGPT. It will return multiple choice, like choice 1, 2, 3, but we are going to pick the choice 0 if it exists from our list. So we can check if it's not empty here. So what you want to do right now is, like, we want to create another thing, which is a proxy. Let's create a new package. We call it proxy. So this proxy, in this proxy, we want to create the chat GPT. That's where we call we invoke the ChatGPT request and get a response. So we are going to use this as a request, and you can get this as a response. So let's create a ChatGPT proxy, and we can call it ChatGPT proxy. Where's the package? And you can call it ChatGPT proxy, and it will ChatGPT proxy, and it is an interface. So refactor, let's refactor this so that we can put a capital letter P from our proxy. We want to use this one. We want to use a fan client, so we can say add fan client, and it allows a URL that we want to call, and also we can pass a name. This name is to identify the name of this service, and I can call it chat GPT service. I can call it a proxy service, and the URL, let's check the URL. The URL that we want to use is this one. We can copy the URL from here. So this is the URL. So by default, we want to use this one. Let's remove this one. Maybe later on there's an API that we will call later. So all of our URLs start with the v1. So let's remove this, and let's create a method, which is the method. It is a post. It's a post mapping. It's a post method. So here you just say post mapping, it post mapping, and also the value of this is going to be the what we deleted here. We just copy this. We can put chat completion. Then we can add a response body, and also we want to. This is a chat response. So as a chat response, we just say chat GPT completion. And our method requires a request body. If you haven't watched my tutorial of creating a post, there's a playlist that I have, Spring for Beginners. You can watch that, and you can understand about a request body, request parameter, and request header. So those are the basics that we use to build RESTful APIs. So you can watch that Spring for Beginners course. So this is our request. We just say request, and there's a we want to pass also in a header. So you just say add request header, this one, and the name of the header is authorization, and it's a string. You just say hey, authorization header. So by doing this, with this API, it's just the same as the API that we create here, but the difference that this one is for the OpenFin client, and this one are the ones that we hit on our application, and we annotated them with a REST controller. So for our application to be able to use a fan client, we must configure it so that it can be added into our invention of container, and you can use them as a dependency injection. So there are annotations that we are supposed to add here. The first one is at enable. We want to enable at fan clients, right? You can see it's showing this. So by clicking this, it will fetch all the fan clients that we have. So currently we just have this fan client, so that's why it navigated into here. And there's also another annotation which is from auto configurations. So we can import auto configurations, and from auto configurations there you can pass a list of classes that you want. So you want it to the Java to auto configure the fan clients class. So you just say fan auto configuration class. So this class can have all the configurations of our fan client. It means we configure the context, how we are going to call the application, also the all the configuration for the fan client. So by doing this, it means we are now able to use our fan client. So let's go back to our. So here we just created a proxy for this. So let's now create a service for our fail client, so that we can call it from our REST call from our controller. So let's create a service here, and let's create a new package called ChatGPT. ChatGPT. I don't want to put the interface and and implement it. So just to save time, I'm just showing you how to implement this. If you want the standard way, we shall have a standard another advanced series where we talk about how to create a Spring Boot application following the good standards and a maintainable way of Spring. So let's create a new class here, and we can call it a ChatGPT service. ChatGPT service. Before we forget, let's add another annotation here, which is a service to avoid null pointer exceptions, and it can be added into a container, and it all args, right? And also it, I think it no or adds again, so that we'll be able to invoke our field variable, because we want to configure the API key from add value. So here there it's just a method that you want to call, and we expect a response, which is a chat GPT AI DTO. So we just say chat, and it allows this also. Our request and our response to the application is going to be the same. We are sending a request with a message, and we are getting a response with also a list of messages. For now, just here, let's put 10 now. So let me show you why I'm saying the response is going to be the same. The request body is like this, and also the response that you are going to show to our customer, I want it to be like that. Here, this is the response that you are getting, but for me, I want to get to have also the list of messages, but appending which one, this message, which is the result that we got from from this question, which was sent by a user, which is say hello, and the application replied with how may I assist you today. So let's come again. So the request and the response is going to be the same list of messages, but differentiated by, is it an assistant, is it a user, or is it a system message. So the first message that I want to, okay, from our request, I want to set a model. So the name of the model that you are going to use is this one. Let me show you the name of the model, this one. So if you want to use version 4, you can just change the and our first message, let's create our system message. So our system message, we want to tell people what we do so that our will be a user can know what we offer. So we just say you are code with BISC assistant 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 comma you help developers to write code your strength is on is, in, is on Spring Boot and also Flutter. And what else do we add here? Or just say you are allowed to give feedback about programming questions. You are instructed to do so by Bisky Muswid. So this is going to be our system message. So from here we want to copy this one. Let's copy this. So we just say chat message dot set content, and the content is this system message, and also set row. The row of this is a system. So we instructed the system to answer everything that is based on this one. So after doing this, we just say system. So this one must be always on position 0. So we just say dot get messages. No, from here we want to set it as the first set messages. So we just say get messages at position 0 to at position 0, or no, I'm sorry, get messages dot add. We want to add this instruction on the first element of the list, which is position 0. Chat messages. Why is it? No, sorry. We must start with an index and the message. So here, after doing this, we can now call our proxy and we get our response. So here we just say private chat-gpt proxy. Okay, because it's like this. calling here, is it a being here? What if I do this and I make this final? It's just the same. So let's do this. After doing this, we can now use this one to call our message complete, and it requires this and also a bearer token. So here we can configure our authorization header, and our header is like an API key. So we just say private string API key chat-gpt, because we are going to have many API keys for many integration services that we are going to have in future. So to make sense, let's just say, so here just say it value and chat gpt dot key. So let's also go to our YAML file, and we can put this, and here you can put your chat your API key. So by doing this, we can now come here and you can get a response here. So from our response, we are more focusing on what is in the choices, because we are going to get more choices. So we just check if it's not now, if it's none now. If the response is not equal to now, and also the choices is not empty, choices is empty, it means it's not empty. I put in here. So for our users, we don't want to show the row that we are using. So here, let's clear the row here and let's set it to now. We don't want our user to know which kind of module that we are using. Sorry, we want to set the module to now. So right now we have list of choices. So what you want to do is just from choices, you want to get the first message, which is get at position 0. Don't get message. We want to get this list of message, get a message, right? Choices get 0, get messages. Why here? Here it's supposed to be, sorry, I just copied. It's supposed to be a message, a single message. Dot far, and this is the message. So we want to set this message a row. So for a row, we know the message. Okay, it's fine. So from this list, we want to add this messages. We want to get messages. Dot add our new message. and here we can return our response. Here it means we got our message from ChatGPT and we pass this as a system. We send a request and we get a response. If choices are not aimed, let's get the first choice and put it to our message, and you can display the result. So what we are left now is the controller, which is the ChatGPT controller. Now let's create. Okay, so let's just create like a ChatGPT controller, or we can copy anyone from here, paste. So ChatGPT API, and it will be a post. And let's remove this, and the name of the method here I can say chat GPT, and the method that we are using is completion, and for the request here we are using request body, right? Okay, control Z, request body of chat AI DTO, and it also returning the same response. And we can delete this, and we can say return, and the name of the service is ChatGPT service, and we can import this. So here we make public, and here we can rename here refactor, rename to chat completion. So let me test this by running our application. Okay, our application is running from on port 1995, and let's save a URL which is 1995 here. Yeah, now we'll be able to access it on API integration Swagger UI index.html. So let's go to our integration here. Yeah, this is the example, so we can try. Let's try out this one. In the model, it doesn't matter. We are going to update it later. And the first row, it's user. And here we just say hi. And we can test this. Messages, row hi. Let's test this. We can get an internal server error. I think it's an authentication issue. A null pointer. Let's see why are we getting the null pointer. Here it's a null pointer exception here, and the problem here, we are supposed to add a component. Let's see if it's now a p. Let's say what if we try to do this. Let's generate a constructor, which is this one, and let's remove this. Let's test this. let's send the same message again. We have got an error. Is this still a null pointer? No, it's no longer a null pointer exception. It's a 401. It's a 401. It's because of the secret key. So here I have to update with my secret key. So you can check it with my secret key. I put my secret key here. Unauthorized. Let's see here. Okay, I know why. We did something wrong here. After doing this, we just say string dot format and we say beer. Then we put beer %s here, %s, and we put this and let's test again. So let's then send a request again and test. Wow, we get a response which is an assistant. Hello, how can I assist you with the programming needs today? So you can just copy this response like this and you can put it here. We are supposed to send also the response that you receive. You have to send it back again as it is. So here we can just delete this, right? So we can instruct it to delete the first message also on the response. So here we just copy this and put a comma here. Then here we just say, what do you offer? This is the response typed by user. Then click execute again and see. Okay, assistant. As an assistant of programming tasks, I can offer you the following: provide guidance of Spring Boot and Flutter framework, help you to write code by suggesting code snippets and best practices, provide feedback on programming questions. So these instructions are the instructions that we gave our bot here with this single line of code. So that's all. That you just give it an instruction, and this is a system, and the system is always have this. The system will only have this instruction. It knows its instruction, and it will. This is the user input, and this is the assistant, like the chat-gpt response after a user say hi, and this is another request from the user, and the assistant give this response also. So the conversation can go on and on and on and on and on, but you have to keep track of all this, what you are doing. So what you can do here after adding this, we want to remove at position 0. So we just say we can remove at position 0 dot remove at position 0. So for each response we get a response without this. So you don't want to show our users on our JSON response the instruction to our system. So let's test it again. So our initial message is just say hi, and you just copy this one. Let's copy and let's send a request, say hi. You see, the system reply with this, so we are no longer getting the system response. And let's add this, let's no. So let's copy this. Then we can copy this message and put a comma here and just say, what do you offer? What do you do? And we can send a request again. and wait for a response. And this is the response after I said what you do. I am an assistant code with Bisca. I hope develops, right? So you can see the message is different and it's not hard coded, and this response is coming from ChatGPT. So thank you guys for watching this video. I think you enjoyed and you learn how ChatGPT works, and we managed to integrate with ChatGPT using Spring Boot. So thank you guys. If you are new to this channel, may you kindly subscribe and click the notification bell so that you'll be notified whenever we upload a new video.